Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to the first show of this joint collaboration between Revsportz and Women's Cricket Zone, bringing to you coverage leading into the Women's World Cup and of course, coverage of the Women's World Cup. I will say this is the biggest ever tournament in Indian women's cricket history. And added to that, the two central people I'm going to talk about today, Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami, now they will be the cynosure of all attention come March. So it was important that Revsportz and Women's Cricket Zone come together in forging this unique partnership, in bringing to you coverage of a very different nature. And at the core of it, at the center of it, lies the stories of Raj and Goswami. That is why it is only fitting that as the team leaves for New Zealand to play the bilateral series and get ready for the World Cup and then move on to playing the World Cup, we start our coverage or we kickstart our coverage with a special on Raj and Goswami. If the 2011 World Cup was about Sachin Tendulkar, because everybody knew that it was Sachin Tendulkar's last World Cup, the 2022 Women's World Cup will be about Raj and Goswami.
Let me now take you forward, Sachin, to 2022. And, both the men and the women's team have two massive assignments coming up. The women's team have their World Cup in March. The men's team will obviously have their World Cup in October. If I focus on the women's team first, Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami playing their last tournament. And I have a specific question. That's why I'm asking you this. Mithali Raj, Jhulan Goswami, both 20 plus years in international cricket. Only thing missing is that World Cup, which is why they are pushing themselves. Having spoken to both, I know what it means to them. Team is very good. Harmanpreet Kaur, great WBBL, for example. Women's Big Bash, she was excellent. Smriti Mandhana, Shefali Verma. India has a good side. But when, the World Cup, you waited for that World Cup for 22 years. Mithali Raj has already said she will retire after that World Cup. Again, a 22-year-long career. Tell me, how you approach a World Cup like this? Because that's what I want to know from you. I don't want to know anything else. Massive, they have both waited patiently. Your thoughts on that?
Just going to tell you that you are speaking to the right person. 22 years is a long time not to lose hope. And that is important. Never to lose hope. There is always a new tournament, a new day, a new match. If you don't lose hope, some stage you'll go out and conquer it. And this is that moment. All of us will be backing both Jhulan as well as Mithali. I know that it is going to be their last World Cup, and the rest of the team, of course, there are a number of years cricketing years in them. So I want to wish them all the very best. And when it comes to mental preparation, I remember discussing this in our camp in Bengaluru. This was in 2011, just before the World Cup. We discussed that it's going to be a home World Cup. We are the hosts. And wherever we go, there is going to be a lot of following. People would want to know, and it's not just on the field, in the hotel, in the aircraft, wherever you go. A bus driver will tell you, "Aaj jeetna hai." So all these kind of things will happen. How does one deal with that? And the solution that we came up with was always believe that these guys are with you. Everybody is with you. They're not sitting on top of your head. So it is all about having a formidable force. I mean, 1.3 billion plus people with you is a formidable force. And when that energy is propelling forwards, no one can stop that. It can't be on top of your head. The pressure, the direction of pressure has to be moving forwards. When it's on top of your head, you're going to sink. So believe that everyone is with you and we are with you. Go out, give your best. Of course, every time you go out, you want to win every game, every moment. But there are going to be ups and downs. And in 2011 World Cup also, there were ups and downs. But we always believe that we as a team could lift this trophy. And that is what my message to all of you would be.
If you take the contributions of Raj and Goswami, no one comes near the two of them. But there is something beyond numbers. There is something beyond hard facts. And that is the telling contribution these two legends have made on the sport itself. They are stories of aspiration. So I would want the entire country to get behind the women in blue in manners we've not seen before. Just like you get behind Rohit and Kohli, get behind Raj and Goswami. Get behind the women's team as we go to the World Cup, as we go to New Zealand. Let's start a campaign, the Blue Billion campaign. Let's make it about the two of them. Of course, you don't need a bigger platform than the World Cup. You don't, right? You're playing for India. But there is an additional incentive. Two women who have led the charge, who have been the crusaders, who have been the beacon of light for the women's game in India will call it a day. This is their swan song. This is the last time, yes, I still have goosebumps. This is the last time I will see a Jhulan Goswami run like that and bowl like the way we have come to see her in the last 20 years. This is the last time I will see a Mithali Raj play that exquisite cover drive and once again raise the bat for another 50 or another 100. We have spoken to their colleagues and compatriots as to what they feel about these two legends. For example, Deepti Sharma talked about that her day one in international cricket several years back, and a Jhulan Goswami went to Deepti Sharma and made her feel at ease, saying, डरने का कोई बात नहीं है. अगर कुछ डिस्कशन करना है तो कर लो, खुल के बात करो, because she clearly had inhibitions. She was making her debut.
2011 मेंस वर्ल्ड कप जब हुआ था, सबको पता था सचिन तेंदुलकर का ये लास्ट वर्ल्ड कप होने वाला है. एंड द होल कंट्री रैलीड अराउंड सचिन, द टीम आल्सो. इस वर्ल्ड कप हमें भी पता है मिथाली और झूलन का लास्ट वर्ल्ड कप है. आप लोग क्या उसके बारे में बात करते हो कि इन दोनों के लिए एक्स्ट्रा कुछ करना चाहिए? दो दिग्गज हमारे विमेन्स क्रिकेट इतिहास में अगर पहला दो नाम लिया जाए तो इन दोनों का नाम आएगा. So your words on these two, Mithali and Jhulan, and World Cup being their last?
See, World Cup तो always special, लेकिन दो लेजेंड हैं जो अभी टीम में खेल रहे हैं, इतने सालों से खेल रहे हैं. उन्होंने एक्सटेंड किया है विमेन्स क्रिकेट को, तो ऑफ कोर्स उनके लिए तो पहला हमारा ये रहेगा कि उनके लिए जिताना है हमने टीम को. बाद में एक टीम आएगी, है ना. तो यही माइंड सेटअप रहेगा कि इस बार तो जीतना है वर्ल्ड कप. लास्ट टाइम जो भी हुआ छोटे मिस्टेक हुए, लेकिन इस बार दोनों दीदी लोगों के लिए मतलब ये जीतना है वर्ल्ड कप. तो आई थिंक कुछ पॉजिटिव्स रहेंगे, कुछ नहीं, आई थिंक बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव्स रहेंगे फिर इससे उनके लिए भी.
Come on, दीप्ति, give me a Jhulan story and a Mithali story जो हमें पता नहीं है. आपका एक फेवरेट Jhulan story and फेवरेट Mithali
स्टोरी पर ऐसा तो कुछ
कोई भी एक्सपीरियंस, आपका एक्सपीरियंस इन दोनों के साथ, वो ड्रेसिंग रूम में भी हो सकता है, ग्राउंड में भी हो सकता है, कोई भी एक्सपीरियंस जो आप पहले कभी शेयर नहीं किया.
ऐसा तो एक्चुअली कुछ भी नहीं था, पर जो भी मैं पहले इंटरव्यूज में दे चुकी हूँ वही बताऊंगी. मैं जब मेरा डेब्यू था ये बेंगलोर में, तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा नर्वस थी. स्पेशली मतलब जो कैप्टन रहता है कि हमें ग्राउंड में तो उन्हीं से बात करनी होती है, चाहे बॉलिंग में चाहे फील्डिंग कर रहे हो, तो उनसे एक रहता है कनेक्शन. तो मतलब मेरे जहन में ये रहता था, बहुत नर्वस रहती थी मैं. एक तो डेब्यू मैच, ऊपर से थोड़ा डर रहता था कि कैसे शेयर करना है. तो जुलू दी आए मेरे पास, उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं, ऐसे नर्वस होने की बात नहीं है, कुछ भी लगे आप पूछ लो दीदी मिताली दी से या मेरे से आके. तो टेंशन लेने की बात नहीं है बिल्कुल, एक एज अ फैमिली ही समझो हमको। तो आई थिंक एक वो जो उन्होंने कॉन्फिडेंस दिया कि मैं अपना कुछ शेयर बोल सकती हूँ, दीदी से शेयर कर सकती हूँ, तो आई थिंक वहीं से मैं थोड़ा सा ओपन हुई टीम के साथ।
If you go and talk to a Yastika Bhatia and speak to her about the impact of a Raj, about the impact of a Goswami, you will understand what these towering personalities mean to these youngsters.
One, 2011 World Cup was the last World Cup that India won, men's. 2017, the girls came close. But 2011, if I go back, my friend Sachin Tendulkar had become this unifier kind of. I mean, all of a sudden, everybody was saying, let's do it for Sachin Tendulkar. Let's do it for Sachin. And the team came together. Obviously, it's for India. Having said that, there was this one man who had been there for 20 plus years, 22 years, hadn't won a World Cup. It was his dream, and everyone came together. You have two such people, Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami. They're playing their last tournament, absolute legends of the game. Is there a sense in that team that, what, two of our greatest will no longer play? Can we do this for her? Is there a sense like that?
Yes, definitely there in the team, Mithali Di and Jhulan Di are playing since 20 years, serving the country since 20 years and 20 plus years, and their contribution is immense towards the game. And they have built the team coming into the World Cup. And it's our duty now, to give our best and 100% and win the World Cup for them.
Let me just ask you two personal questions. Two of my favorites will call on their career at the end of this World Cup. They've played with you for a decade and more. I mean, for a long, long time, they've been flag bearers of the Indian game. Your thoughts on Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami?
Oh, I think, as you mentioned, they've been absolute stalwarts of the Indian women's cricket team and women's cricket as well. I think about Mithali and how long she's played for. I think it's over close to 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah, and it's incredible. It'd be amazing to speak to her about the growth of the women's game and how she's seen it evolve during her time. And Jhulan, I think, is one of the most loveliest people I've ever met in cricket circles, and I've certainly been really honoured to have shared the changing room on a number of occasions. And I think her impact on women's cricket is going to be everlasting because she's had such a presence with what she's been able to do. To think that she's still bowling the way that she is, having been around for so long, it's just so much credit to her, and the dedication she has to fast bowling is outstanding.
The Mil-Jhul combination has dominated the horizon of the Indian women's game. It is time we get together. We get together behind them. Raj will be captaining India for the last time. Goswami will be leading the pack as bowler the last time. It is important that we, as fans of sport, as analysts of sport, as supporters of sport, get behind the two of them. So we decided that it is only fitting that we launch our World Cup coverage with this special show on Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami. We will celebrate them right through February and March, and we will celebrate them irrespective of the result. But fingers crossed, we would want them to finish off on the podium, get their last wish fulfilled, and today, ladies and gentlemen, is the start of that mission. Our coverage of the Women's World Cup starts today with this tribute to Raj and Goswami. You guys, all of you, have this responsibility of backing this team, of backing Raj, backing Goswami, and pushing them to creating history, because this is the last opportunity. They are the cusp. They are on the cusp of history to make history. It is on us to back them to do so.
Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An RH negative mother carrying an RH positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every RH negative pregnancy.